Here.
Jack Paul, Cal Martin,
Here.
James Snyder,
Here.
Larry Hill.
Here.
Thank you. As I said, Miss Allison Jones is with the Arkansas Care Clinic, the new one that's going to be implemented out at the school. You asked for just a couple of minutes to give an overview of that.
Yes.
Please come forward and address the council.
Microphone?
Yes, please.
Okay, so my name is Allison Jones, and I work for Mayflower Schools. I'm the school-based health center coordinator. That's a mouthful. So it's the same R-Care that is currently here. It's all the same staff. They're just moving over to what was the old administration building or the old ISS building. And hopefully that's finishing up this week, all the construction and renovations will be done, and then R-Care will start within next week, and they'll be open for business hopefully the week after that. What makes it special is the school was awarded a grant to open a clinic, and it is completely open to the public, but it serves students and staff first. So if we have a child that needs to be seen, they go to the front of the line so they can get back to class. And the parents can do telehealth with the child if they can't leave work. And we can get the prescriptions brought over to the clinic and sent home with the child. There's just lots of pieces to it, but that's it in a nutshell. It's about to open. There's some literature here on it and these little forms. If you scan the QR code, you can scroll down to Mayflower Clinic and get signed up. It doesn't change your primary. It just makes you in the system if you ever needed to use the clinic.
Now, the Arkansas Care building that's adjacent to the, that will be closed, and
Yes, sir.
all that facility will be relocated to the new.
Yes, sir. And it's all the same staff. They're moving over there with us. So if you already go there, you get to see the same people.
Okay, good. Thank you so much for coming and giving us a heads up on that.
You're very welcome.
After after the grand opening or whatever, if you'd like to come back and then address this in detail, what's going on.
Usually I have
Right,
backup. Dr. Chisholm and Dr. Rutledge are here, but it's spring break and so they're off,
I understand.
family in. But yes, that would be great. They can give you some more details.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
for coming. All right, Larry,
Mark?
you said,
My neighbor, Mark, would you like to step forward, please?
My name's Bart Tugall. I am actually Larry's neighbor. He lives on South Deer. I live on North Deer. And today on Facebook, it showed some Arkansas bills that got passed. And the first one, and I gave Larry the information, but it has to do with small communities getting grant money to fix sewer issues. And I know we all have talked about this, and I gave Larry the information on it, but there's $60 million there. And it's like matching funds. They're not gonna pay it all, but, and I also, this last weekend, I was on a flight and I met a young lady out of Texas, and she specializes in writing grants. And even though she's in Texas, she said, I can do some research for you all, because it sounds like it's a very, very needed type of grant that you may need. And, she emailed me today, and I don't want to overstep my bounds, because I'm just a citizen. So I try to pass this stuff to Larry, but this bill, I don't know when they're gonna open up the grant request type stuff, but we need to get really, really look into it. And the Facebook post, it talked about some other bills that the Arkansas House passed, but the very first one, I don't remember what the bill number was, but it's all about not just sewage, but it's about water type things. And it's all about the state matching with small communities. And part of it has to be your water systems I think it has to be under like 1,500 as far as the sewage, under 1,500 homes. And I don't know if Mayflower would qualify for that. I don't know how many sewer accounts that are in Mayflower, but it's something that it just needs to be looked into.
we'll look into it.
And if I can help in any way, I can get a hold of this young lady to help us try to figure that out. I also gave Larry some information about a place, and I thought you might have known something about this, Danny. Do you remember that other person I was talking about that was out in Carlisle?
Yes, it's the same people that we talked to in Conway that works for the county judge.
Right.
He recommended us there. Same
But,
folks.
Anyway, the person I talked, they mentioned your name like you knew who these people
Yes.
were. And so,
It's good.
and so I'm just trying to just as a new resident, I've only been here 6 years, but you know, I came from North Little Rock. I was very involved in things there. And I just, if there's anything that we can do to try to, because if we know, it wouldn't affect me, but there's a lot of people in Mayflower, if we have to start jacking up sewer rates, what I'm concerned about is people's just gonna move out of the area. They're just gonna say, there's no reason for me to live here when I'm paying 3 times of what I'd pay for Conway Fork.
Right.
And so, and it's something that I think the city council needs to really be aware of. If we really start jacking a sewer rate, you're gonna be losing residents.
I agree. I think kind of from Solid Engineering.
He stays on top of that. I'll call him tomorrow.
Thank you, Mark.
About that.
But like I
It's not,
said,
it should be. That's, that one.
Yeah, well, he does. Normally, he'll call me or send me a text message or whatever, if there's other monies that's appropriated.
Right.
But yes, we need to follow up with that, see if, anything is better than nothing.
right,
As far as to help us out.
And I had one quick question. How does it stand with the members of the council? Somebody mentioned that we have to have so many people water certified. If we've gotten any more and we only had 2 of the 8 that we needed. I think you said you were, right?
Yeah, we're working on that. We're signing up for the program, yes.
How many additional people have signed up?
1, 2,
There was some couple of hiccups on downloading that information.
Okay.
Working with Raymond, I think for the most part, we've been able to download that information now. But anyway, yes.
I
Well, I
think
think
the
everybody,
deadlines on that are upcoming. They're
Well,
not
that's what I was
fast.
concerned about. Yeah, that was the only thing I was concerned about the last time I was here about a month ago. I think you were mentioning about the deadlines that may be coming up, so I think,
I just like to be proactive on things.
I think it was the 1st of May or something, wasn't it?
Randy, that's implemented by next year.
July the 26th, 2026.
Yeah, next year.
Well, you got plenty of
Yeah,
time.
yes, sir.
Appreciate your time.
Thank you,
thank you so much, Mark.
Mark.
All right, we now move to approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes for the February regular council meeting.
Second.
Thank you. Barbara, will you call roll?
Mark Hickman,
Yes.
Zach Jeffrey,
Yes.
Kyle Marks,
Yes.
James Snyder,
Yes.
Larry Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. Next is the financial statement. Do I hear a motion for, to approve the February 2025 data?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. A second?
Second.
Thank you. Marshall, I'm sorry, Barbara, would you please call the roll for the vote?
Mark Hickman,
Yes.
Zach Jeffrey,
Yes.
Kyle Marks,
Yes.
James Snyder,
Yes.
Larry Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. Now we move into the general section, A, Resolution 25-11, purchasing cellular endpoints for meters. Do I have a motion for approval on that?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-11.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Barbara, would you please call the roll for the vote?
Mark Hickman,
Yes.
Zach Jeffrey,
Yes.
Kyle Marks,
Yes.
James Snyder,
Yes.
Larry Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. Next is Resolution 2025-12, purchasing 6 submergible sewer pumps. This is in the Water and Sewer Department. Do I have a motion for approval of that purchasing?
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2025-12.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Second. Barbara, will you call roll?
We'll get some discussion on this.
Oh.
Second though.
Okay.
I'm trying to look in there. Was there $1 amount on that one?
I believe, Raymond, what was the dollar amount that you stated last month or at our workshop? You gave us a,
Anywhere between $30,000 to $40,000.
did you?
Between 30 and 40, does that need to be in the resolution?
This is not one I wrote, but I could.
But I got that's the price that I stipulated there, $36,400. Is the actual price I got from the distributor, where we get our funds from, those hydromatic pumps.
Okay,
You've
so
got
that's
36,000.
36,400.
Yeah, you've got $36,400 for the purchase
I'm
of
good, it's
6
just
points.
hiding from me.
It's
I read it
already.
3 times and it
Yeah.
just jumped out. So,
But I thought Raymond had told us that amount.
Yeah, I give you an estimated amount between 30 and 40,000.
that's right there in between.
Right there.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raymond.
If you could be a little bit more specific.
Okay. Hard work on that.
You've got a motion in a second.
Right. Any more discussion on that? Barbara, will you call the roll for the vote, please?
Mark Hickman,
Yes.
Zach Jeffrey,
Yes.
Hal Marks,
Yes.
James Snyder,
Yes.
Larry Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. Next is ordinance 2025-01, zoning annex property, third reading. Do we need to, Chris, is Chris in here? Oh, I'm sorry. Do we need to have any more explanation of that?
So we'll put this on for a third reading, and the issue that Mr. Matthews had, I think it's been fixed with a different court.
Correct, so we introduced the cleanup for this at the last workshop, that'll fix it on the back end. Third read with an emergency clause on this, and then the next ordinance will have an emergency clause as well, so it will be enacted at the same time.
2025-05, correct? Agricultural zoning
Yes.
corrections. But we will need to waive the rules, instead of putting 3 readings on it, to do
An emergency
vote on
clause?
that.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So we still want the newly annexed property to be agricultural.
Yes. The ordinance, it's, discussion right now is to zone the annexed area into A1. Our current zoning does not define A1.
That's what the 2005 does.
That's right.
And the only reference to A1 is commercial agricultural operations. We don't even define that, and that's what this ordinance is pointing to. So the next ordinance is gonna define both of those and have A1 instead of commercial be residential. Just trying to clean it all up and bring it all together.
So on the ordinance 2025-01, the zoning annex property, third reading, are we ready to do the third reading, or do we need more discussion on this?
If it's by title only, we'll take a motion second to read it by title only.
I'll make a motion to read ordinance 2025-01 by title only.
Second.
Motion and a second. Have a voice vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same. Thank you, ayes have it.
Ordinance 2025-01, an ordinance amending ordinance title 1408 of the Mayflower Municipal Code, commonly known as Mayflower zoning ordinance, to classify newly annexed property described herein, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Thank you.
Motion second.
I'll make a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-01.
We have a motion, do we have a second? Second. We can do a voice vote, which also. All in favor of this motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, by saying.
Emergency. Yeah, usually accept, emergency clause of ordinance 2025-01.
Who got the second? I heard 2 voices, okay.
Or do we have to just, what do we do with this one?
This is for the emergency
Emergency clause,
clause.
we should vote on the emergency clause.
Yes.
Okay, is that, can we voice vote on that?
Yes, yes.
All in favor of this motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, by saying. Thank you. So,
Yes, yes.
25, okay, thank you. Moving on to ordinance 2025-03, corrections to Mayflower Fire Codes.
So in this one, we got the information, just a few days after the last workshop. We were kind of busy, so given the fact that I was a little bit delayed getting the corrections to the council, I'm just gonna punt this to the next workshop, so we have proper time to discuss everything, make sure all your questions are cleared, And we'll come back and revisit this again
Never
next
saw it
month.
before the meeting, chief, because I saw the bullet points and everything that we talked about.
It's lengthy.
But I still want to see, if we're gonna vote on an ordinance, I want to
Yes.
see the whole thing
Yeah.
and have some time to chew on it. So,
Yes. So I just want to be sure everybody's comfortable with that.
It's-
We can
So we're
vote on
just tabling this?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris.
Do we have to vote on that? Or do we already said that?
Just a motion to table.
Motion?
Make a motion to table ordinance 2025-03.
Do we vote?
Yes, voice vote.
Okay, voice vote on that, tabling 2025-03. All in favor, please say, indicate by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, by same. Thank you. It's tabled. Okay, moving on to ordinance, to E, general ordinance 2025-04, modifying mayor's spending and bidding.
So I move we suspend the rules, waive the second and third reading of ordinance 2025-04, and vote on, read ordinance 2025-04 by title only and vote on ordinance 2025-04 after its initial reading.
Okay,
Second.
we have a second. Please restate the motion.
We have a motion and a second to suspend the rules, waive the second and third reading of ordinance 2025-04, read the ordinance by title only, and vote on it after its initial reading.
Would you please call the roll? Vote.
Mark Hickman,
Yes.
Zach Jeffrey,
Yes.
Hal Mark,
Yes.
James Snyder,
Yes.
Larry Hill.
Yes.
Please read the ordinance.
Ordinance 2025-04, an ordinance amending ordinance 2011-2, modified at 3.04, to modify the mayor's discretionary spending allowance, to modify bidding procedures, declaring an emergency for other purposes. This is the one that was tabled from February. We brought it up at the workshop and made changes basically to the section 3.04-04. Talking about supplies and materials and equipment. I think that change is in there. I don't recall making any other major changes.
That has to do with any surplus equipment to sell?
City council would have to approve
Yes.
any sale regardless of the amount.
Yes. All right, do I have any other discussion? Comments?
Well, with that,
I'm sorry.
we need a motion before discussion anyway on the ordinance itself.
Yeah, so
Yes,
I,
that's
So
true.
I move we adopt, ordinance 2025-04.
second.
Thank you. Again, do we have any more discussion? Please restate the motion.
We have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 2025-04.
And you, any other discussion? Please call the roll for the vote.
Mark Hickman,
Yes. Zach
Jeffrey,
Yes.
Hal Mark,
Yes.
James Snyder,
Yes.
Larry Hill.
Yes.
Thank you.
Also move that we accept the emergency clause of ordinance 2025-04.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Barbara? Do we have any more discussion?
She's gonna restate that.
Yes.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the emergency clause of ordinance 2025-04.
Thank you. Discussion. All right, please call the roll for the vote.
Mark Hickman,
Yes.
Zach Jeffrey,
Yes.
Hal Mark,
Yes.
James Snyder,
Yes.
Larry Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. Now moving to ordinance 2025-05 agricultural zoning correction.
This is the sister ordinance that goes
To
on
the-
2025-01.
That's correct.
So I move that we, suspend the rules, waive the second, third reading of ordinance 2025-05. Read the ordinance by title only and vote on ordinance 2025-05 after its initial reading.
All right,
Second.
second. Please restate the motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to waive the second and third reading of ordinance 2025-05. Read the ordinance by title only and vote on it after its initial reading.
Thank you. Call the roll, please, for the vote.
Mark Hickman,
Yes.
Zach Jeffrey,
Yes.
Kyle Mark,
Yes.
James Snyder,
Yes.
Larry Hill.
Yes.
Please read the ordinance.
An ordinance 2025-05, an ordinance amending chapter 14, section 4.07 of the Mayflower Municipal Code to create a new zoning district entitled A2, Commercial Agricultural Operations, modify the A1 zone, declaring an emergency and for other purposes.
Move that we adopt ordinance 2025-05.
Thank you. Second.
I second.
Thank you. Please restate the motion.
We have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 2025-05.
Thank you. Any discussion? Barbara, will you please call the roll for vote?
Mark Hickman,
Yes.
Zach Jeffrey,
Yes.
Kyle Mark,
Yes.
James Snyder,
Yes.
Larry Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. Do we now
So
enter into the emergency clause?
I move that
Yeah.
we accept the, emergency clause of ordinance 2025-05.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Restate the motion, please.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the emergency clause of ordinance 2025-05.
Discussion. Barbara, please call the roll for the vote.
Mark Hickman,
Yes.
Zach Jeffrey,
Yes.
Kyle Mark,
Yes.
James Snyder,
Yes.
Larry Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. Now we move into ordinance 2025-06 driveways. Do we have a motion for
Yeah.
disapproval?
I'll make a motion. Well, I move first, this is an ordinance that.
Right. I'm sorry.
Move to suspend the rules, waive the second, third reading of ordinance 2025-06.
Six.
Read the ordinance by title only and vote on ordinance 2025-06 after its initial reading.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Please restate the motion.
We have a motion and a second to suspend the rules, waive the second and third reading of ordinance 2025-06, and read the ordinance by title only and vote on after its initial reading.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Barbara, will you please call the roll for the vote?
Mark Hickman,
Yes.
Zach Jeffrey,
Yes.
Kyle Mark,
Yes.
James Snyder,
Yes.
Larry Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. Please read the ordinance.
Ordinance 2025-06, an ordinance of the city of Mayflower, Arkansas, amending chapter 14.04, section 10 of the municipal code regarding parking space requirements and for other purposes.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
I'll move to adopt ordinance 2025-06.
Second.
For a second? Barbara, will you restate the motion?
We have a motion and a second to adopt ordinance 2025-06.
Any discussion? Barbara, will you please call the roll?
Mark Hickman,
Yes.
Zach Jeffrey,
Yes.
Kyle Mark,
Yes.
James Snyder,
Yes.
Larry Hill.
Yes.
Moving to the emergency
Yeah, I
clause.
move we accept the emergency clause of ordinance 2025-06.
Thank you.
Second.
Second?
Larry, second, thank you. Restate the motion, please.
We have a motion and a second to adopt the emergency clause of ordinance 2025-06.
Open, any discussion? Please call the roll for the vote.
Mark Hickman,
Yes.
Zach Jeffrey,
Yes.
Kyle Mark,
Yes.
James Snyder,
Yes.
Larry Hill.
Yes.
Thank you.
Next is the, H Main Street paving project. Jimmy?
Yeah, we need to spend some money, I guess.
They got expensive quick, didn't it?
Yes, it did. I mean, went up to $646,000.
What was our estimate on the capital outlay? Cause I don't even remember that we looked at whenever we put it in. When we were just ballparking, was it around 400,000?
Nah, I think it's like 550, it went up.
We're not far off.
Not too far. And it needs it bad.
Does that include the shoulder work we had talked about and all that?
There's 2-foot shoulders on each side.
Which will give it some more width, essentially.
Well,
Like anyway.
yes, and then overlay, in which they've got to extend, I think, 4 box culverts.
I was gonna say, some of those box culverts are right there on the edge now.
Right.
Those tops will have to, and I noticed there was a lot of mailbox relocation.
Oh, yeah, all that's in there.
Brick mailboxes and all those sorts of things.
That's a turnkey deal. But,
What will happen with the replacement of the mailboxes? If you have a brick mailbox, and it has to be removed, are we going to be building a new brick mailbox?
that's in here for them to do.
I would.
No,
I
what
would
I'm
hope-
saying is that.
Yeah, it'll go back.
It'll go back as the same
Yeah.
as what they have.
Yes,
Well, this, I know this is essentially an estimate from one company, right? Is it, these numbers right
right,
here?
this is from an engineer,
Right, and so
salt engineer,
we'll have to put this out to bid.
Right.
So these numbers may come in under, may come in over, we haven't actually bid it, but.
but this is to get the ball rolling.
Sure.
So why, explain to me again, why don't we have to have an engineer on this? You used to do this, right?
I still do, but y'all need a signature of their license, I guess, is how it works.
Who made that call? I mean, is this what we've always done?
Pretty much,
Okay, okay.
you know, on big projects, I do all the smaller ones, but, you know, something to discount.
But again, so we do put this out to bid, then actually vote on a bid before we move forward. Am I correct in that, Jimmy?
Yes, this right here is just one engineer.
Yeah.
They come out, they assessed everything, and this is what they come up.
So,
Did you get that in their packet, Barbara?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah, so that, I'm looking at it right here, and that's why I say the brick mailbox relocation, because there's $4,000 in there, which seemed kind of cheap for all the brick mailboxes.
Right.
But there's 8 of them that it showed me. So what's the next step, looking out of, our request for bids?
Yeah.
Let me ask one quick question. On the east side of Main Street, that parallels the railroad right away. There's vegetation all along there and some vegetation over on the west side. I don't see any vegetation, dollars in here. Is that going to be needed or they need?
Yeah, that'll be added, or either we'll try to do that in-house.
Well, and then, I mean, I'm not trying to pour too much on it once, but as we're doing this project on Main Street, it'd probably be a good time to go ahead, I know those ditches on the, just to get directions, but like some of the ditches on the east side of Main Street aren't flowing well, and I know like the ditch, the concrete box ditch that's coming out of Northwoods is backed up because the ditch from the east side of the road is not flowing.
Right.
So it's backed up in the culvert, so it won't flow. So I guess it'd be a good time is if we're redoing
Yeah.
the boxes and all that to
We
clear the
need to
ditches.
clean ditches,
kind of revamp.
The only thing, one of the reasons I ain't just jumped on that yet,
That fiber optic cable.
you bet,
Mhm.
you bet.
Don't shut my internet off.
And we've done that one time, and we don't never
Mm-mm.
do that again.
I'm talking, Jimmy, if I'm not mistaken, AT&T wants a representative out on site.
Oh, yeah.
While you're,
You bet, there'll be somebody out there all the time with that.
but I think while we're
And
doing
it's
that
not
project,
just the cleaning of the ditch, when you pull a tree,
Mhm. You get a root?
you know, you love to snag it or
Mhm.
anything.
I mean, it just seems like it'd be a good time, putting new roads just while cleaning the ditches while we're there and get it.
Yes,
So do we need a motion or anything to put out a request for bid on that? Is that, okay, I'm gonna make a motion to.
yeah,
Yeah, I make a motion to put out a request for bid,
RFP.
Main Street, not RFP and RFB.
Yes.
Request for bid, we'll put out the proposal. The proposal is essentially this,
in other words, if y'all are giving me permission to
to
proceed,
see bids, yes,
exactly,
yes.
that it's a doable thing.
Typically, do you have any contractors, any construction companies that you think is going to bid on this?
Probably just Jay's, a few of them around here.
Well, does this need to be like a sealed public bid?
Sure. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
$500,000, you
It's not
bet.
like call Bobby Doug, whoever,
that's not-
it's,
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah, that's,
this is what we want.
These are the specs. Give us a bid.
A lot of this is with the engineering, set it up for bids,
Yes,
and
and that's
more or
that's
less.
essentially what they've done, they've got
Yeah, but this is an estimate,
Right.
it's not something
Sure.
written in stone,
sure.
so.
Well, they need to know the mileage, the thickness, all the specs on that, how many exact box stitches, all the work on that.
Well, they supposedly went down and done all that.
Right, but the people bidding will need all that
Oh,
information.
yeah, they'll have all that
Yes,
wrote up.
yes. And then they tell us how cheap or how expensive they're gonna do what we ask to be done. That's a bid, not a proposal.
Yeah,
Normally, the engineers have that in the packet when they send the
Right.
bids out, and then they get all that requirement. They don't have that requirement in that packet and then it gets sold out. No, usually they put that bid out for 30 days.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask, do we need to put a date, like a cap date or something on accepting bids on this?
Yeah, it's a-
Our rule says it's set on a case-by-case basis, however, I don't think. Would it make your own day?
30 days.
30 days from the date that the bid's posted? I don't know how long it'll take to solve.
You can always extend it
Yeah, I
if
don't
you need to.
Yeah, well, I mean, when you're doing those sealed bids, it's nice to have them all at one time. You've gotta have a deadline to have them all at one time, otherwise.
And then open them all at once.
Yeah, yes, yeah, that's what I'm getting at, 'cause well, we've got 3 of them in, we can cut it off now, and then one comes in that's $100,000 cheaper on the next day, you gotta have some parameters on
but
that.
once the engineers gets all that set up.
Yes.
Bidding and
Yes.
everything, then
Set a
we
date.
can put a
We
date.
can set a date.
Yeah.
Is there, I'm asking you this question. What's the time frame on that you think it would take them to get that package together? Is that something they would have by next month's council meeting?
Oh, yeah, we should have. Yeah.
Okay. So we just need, I
I'll
guess, a
second.
motion to allow Salt to get that package together and
Yeah.
put out, okay.
Well, don't you already have a motion out?
Yeah, I'll make that, I'm just trying to figure out what motion I'm needing to make.
Oh, okay.
Cause I'm confused. I wanna make the motion I need to make to get Main Street paved.
There you go.
I'll second that motion.
When
When it comes.
And we're assuming that you've got the money to do it. That's,
Yeah.
you got it, okay.
If I don't, I got people like you on the council that dig up some improvement.
okay, we've got a motion and we've got approval for this. So do we need to do anything else for this?
We need vote.
Let's vote.
Would you call the roll on this, please?
Mark Hickman,
Yes.
Zach Jeffrey,
Yes.
Kyle Mark,
Yes.
James Snyder,
Yes.
Larry Hill.
Yes.
All right. Thank you, Jimmy.
Sound like a winner.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the next one is, outsourced fire hydrant inspections and flow test, approximately $7,000. Is this Chris or fire? Looks like it's the fire.
That's great. I know during the last meeting, we had talked and trying to figure out who's gonna pay for it. Fire department's gonna pay for it. We're fixing to get our Act 233 revenue in. It's that time of year, we haven't got it already, which is paid for, it pays for maintenance and equipment costs, so we'll have the revenue in to go ahead and pay to have it done. Y'all will approve it to, go ahead and get this paid, so we can continue our steps towards trying to continue to lower our ISO.
But this is only for inspection. This is not.
They
inspection
maintenance
and
on, they'll do minor maintenance, they grease, they lube, they'll clear out if there's brush around them, we can't access them, they'll clear it around. They go through and service the hydrant there, and they'll detect if something's wrong with the hydrant and it doesn't operate, we'll get a list and notification.
Okay, that's what I was gonna say. So if it doesn't work, they're gonna do minor work.
They grease them, pull the caps off, flow them, we'll get a GPM, a gallon per minute off every hydrant we have, we'll have that data.
But in terms of repairing,
That'll be on the water department to repair.
okay, that goes back to Raymond's.
Yes.
Okay.
Do we need a cost not to exceed on this at all?
I would think so, it's
$35 a hydrant.
and it's around 200, so
Yes.
no one got.
I'd say 8,000 would be our
Not more
budget.
than 8,000.
Yeah.
I'll make that motion to spend, allow not more than $8,000.
That'd be a good buffer, just in case.
Inspection and flow test, the fire district hydrants, water district hydrants.
I'll second.
You got a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Barbara, will you call?
Mark Hickman,
Yes.
Zach Jeffrey,
Yes.
Kyle Martin,
Yes.
James Snyder,
Yes.
Larry Hill.
Yes.
Thank you. One little more piece, just kind of get up here and talk in front of y'all for the month. So far this month, we're at 110 emergencies. County is still under active burn ban. For the month of February, we made 105. We're now at 110 already this month. Just giving y'all a heads up. Thank you.
The burn ban is because of general dry conditions. That's what it's
Yes,
about.
sir.
Okay.
Yes. Extremely dry.
All right, next is Jay, Senior and Community Center, fees and scheduling. Chris, you want to walk us through this?
Be happy to, Mayor. So y'all tasked me with this at the last council meeting workshop, I don't recall which. Just to put something out there, really didn't establish any criteria or rails to frame this in, so I just went by some of our neighboring cities and towns to look what was reasonable, what they were doing, and looking at the size and what we had to offer, and try to find something that was in line with what everybody else was doing. So went and talked with the wonderful people at the senior center and gathered some information from them, what times that facility is routinely occupied and is not available, and that's on the page 1 of this. So that kind of gives us the outline of when this thing is available for rent, and that forms the basis of the next step of what we can charge, because some of this, we're only going to be renting for 4 hours, and there will be several days that will be an all-day rental that's available. So the fees are in line, whether it's half a day or it's all day. I didn't make anything available past 8 o'clock. I never figured members or anybody else would want to be up here trying to do checks and clean that facility after 8. But page 1 also continues on to park pavilion rentals. And that's not something that I was tasked with, and I'm asking for your consideration as a potential another source of revenue. I've already talked with Jimmy Joe and seen if his guys would be agreeable to changing out a reservation sign if we do have something that is booked, so people would know that facility is at least for that day. They're already maintaining the grounds, particularly during the summer months and including the weekends. The people at the senior center have agreed to maintain their own facility. The $25 inspection fee that we tossed around at the last workshop or the council meeting, I don't recall, that would go to them. They're agreeing to maintain it, check it out, and if there are any deficiencies on the checklist that's included, they would notify us, and we would have grounds to revoke a deposit if it was warranted. But there is a very distinct checklist on things that have to be met. Talking with them, there were just a few concerns about nonprofit, civic use, city center use, and fundraising events. Would they be expected to rent that facility at the full rate? So if anybody from the city wanted to use that for a training or a meeting, or the seniors wanted to do any kind of fundraising event, we put the language in there that there would be no deposit and it would be no cost for nonprofit, civic, and fundraising events. They would maintain their own house. Hopefully the members of the city and relative and all the other departments will definitely clean up after themselves as well. So we feel it's warranted, no cost and no deposit in that use. Any other private events by the seniors, they would incur a $50 discounted rate. They would be tasked with maintaining their own facility and cleaning up everything as well. They would be bound by the same rules that everybody else is and the same checklist. But the discounted rate for the seniors is limited to members of the senior center only.
What did you say? I heard you say something about a $25 fee or something.
So that's incorporated into the actual rental fee that's on page 1. So we would pay, as we discussed last time, we would identify somebody to go in and check and just visit after the rental term and check this checklist, hit all these boxes to make sure everything's been cleaned up. Garbage has been pulled, the kitchen's reset, tables, floors, everything has been reset to the way it was when they arrived. And so that $25 to get that person to come and actually check the building itself. And if there's anything that warrants a deposit revocation, that person would also be tasked with fixing whatever's wrong, documenting it, and then we would charge back that deposit.
So I'm not trying to be a jerk here, I'm just trying to understand, so we're gonna pay someone, 3 ladies or whoever from the senior center, one of those 3 to do pay them personally to do the inspection.
Right.
So that would come out of the.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
But then we're also offering, I guess I'm trying to figure out the logistics, or the logic behind the discounted rate for their personal use.
So there would be no payment for their inspection because they're expected to clean their own house.
But the $50 rate as opposed to the 200 whatever rate.
Well, whether it's 150 or 225, yes, sir, the $50 discounted rate. That seemed to be a general consensus among them, as they are the members of that facility. And if they wanted to rent it out for whatever reason, I'm just bringing the information.
No, I agree, I'm just trying.
I don't have a dog in this fight, let me be
trying
clear about this.
Well, we got 2 different things. If the Council on Aging wanted to have a fundraiser or whatever,
If it's a nonprofit, it's free.
free.
We're talking about personal
That's
use.
what I'm saying, but if they're
This
going
one
to
wants to have
have,
a birthday party for her granddaughter, she gets it for $50 instead of the $2.
No, I heard $50 discount.
So it would be a $50 charge for that day.
Total.
So we're doing 1 rental a day.
so it'd be a discount, but the total charge for that 1 day's rental would be $50
Yeah.
versus the $225.
It's a $175 discount,
Oh, right.
which is a rather substantial discount. I'm not against anybody here, and they're gonna be doing the inspections, getting paid for the inspections. But I'm just trying to think. I mean, I'm
Does
on
that
city
only-
council, do I get a discount because I'm a member of the body that?
Well,
And if we're doing that, then discounts are just gonna get handed, I don't wanna rent the building, I'm just.
but basically, there's 3 people that run the building right now. Are we talking about just those 3 people?
The way the way it was articulated to me was anybody that is a member of the senior center, they would be eligible to rent that building at $50.
I've got.
I don't know about that.
I mean, that's like saying if I'm gonna rent it, man, let's go get.
Let's make it a $50 discount.
Senior citizen doing it for 'em.
A 50,
You don't pay I can see where you don't pay a cleaning fee.
Waiving
But
the
I
deposit,
would
waiving
be-
the inspection.
Yeah, I would be okay with giving a discount, but not renting for $50.
And again, ultimately, I'm just presenting the
Yes, sir.
information for
No,
y'all.
and that's why I'm asking.
Absolutely, yes.
Information.
Right.
Now, however, I mean, if anybody was to come up and wanna rent it, say there was one of the ladies that wanted it for $50, but then I come along and I'm a full paying person and I can say, hey, I wanna rent this day, then we should be able to bump that person because we can rent it. So therefore, that's gonna create a problem. So why don't we just give them a little discount?
It's whatever this governing body wishes to do, that's what we'll implement.
No, don't rent it for $50, give them a $50 discount. That's where I'm thinking.
Can we agree what that discount would be, and let's just go ahead and vote on
Yeah.
it, so that way we can get
Or
it.
nix the discount completely right now, go ahead and go with the rental at lease, and we can discuss the discount, add that in because it's not it's not a difficult thing to add into that, is it?
No, whatever y'all decide, we can implement. I mean,
So let's leave the discount off for now. I'm all for leaving it for nonprofits, letting them use it.
That's what we've done.
Let me be clear about that when I say nonprofits, because New Life Church is a nonprofit that pays us to use it every Sunday.
That's right.
Well,
But actually, they're reserving it for the year.
But you get my point.
Yes.
If some other group wanted to use it, I mean, there are in fact nonprofit groups that are paying us to use it at various fair. I don't know.
there is some additional language that was added today, with regard to long-term usage of that facility and long-term rentals.
And I saw that email.
And I didn't know how else to really run with that, other than administration, mayor, whoever you designate, to kind of come up with those terms and then have it voted on by the city council if we're talking about a long-term continuous use of that facility.
But that can come to us at that time.
Yes.
Let's just go ahead and approve it without the discount.
No discounts, approve the rate and fee schedule as it is. The rental agreement as it is, and we can circle back to the discounts at a workshop, down the road.
The only thing that we would need to move forward is the authorization to put the smart padlock on the back door to start running, PIN numbers as this building is leased.
How much is that?
Couple $100.
About $220 on Big Book.
Yeah,
That's all we have to do is fire.
but that has to be installed. That's just a purchase price. That's it.
Just go buy the lock and you can put it on the door. It doesn't take about 30 minutes to put it on.
Okay.
So that seems to be the most reasonable way to go about it, and absent approval from the governing body, we can't proceed with that either.
Approve up to $300 for the electronic lock, the digital keypad lock, whatever.
Smart lock.
All right, I will get this in place as soon as possible, absent any discount, and then we'll revisit that at a later time.
Is this something we can just go ahead and put in place? Oh,
Yes,
put
yes.
yes. Okay, come back for the other elections.
Yes, sir.
Chris has already got all the details built within.
We need a full resolution for that, the fee schedule and all that, it's just.
I didn't know you could adopt if it's printed there.
So Ms. Barber and I will be notified anytime it's booked. We'll be able to keep track of it.
Okay, do we need a voice vote on what the motion was to take away all the discounts?
Let me clarify what I said.
That's okay.
Barbara, because I don't know if Barbara, I don't even know what I said, so I'm sure she get it right now. I agree with the fee scheduling, as far as the standard fee scheduling, the agreements and all of that. Take away the discounts, all of the discounts for the time being, and accept all of the other as, fees and schedule, including the park. I do like the park, because I'm sure Barbara's had people before that want to know how to rent the pavilion, and they didn't have a
No mechanism to do it. So the only thing I would add to that, we might need another $20 or $30 allocated for a plastic encased sign holder where we can slide a sign in and then.
It's reserved for
get
anything,
rid of it,
whatever.
or reserve it.
That's-
Something that's wall mounted versus just stapling a sign.
Yeah, you're definitely gonna have a larger sign to show reserved and
Yes,
by who and this type of thing with phone numbers.
I've already kind of priced it. I think we can do what we need to for about 30%.
I approve that $30 purchase. I make a motion to approve that $30 purchase.
Second.
All right, do we have because of the monetary, would you call roll, please?
Okay, who did the second?
Larry.
Mark Hickman,
Yes.
Zach Jeffrey,
Yes.
Kyle Mark,
Yes.
James Snyder,
Yes.
Larry Hill.
Yes.
So, did we vote on $100 off as well?
I thought that was part
I
of
was gonna
it.
put
Of
that
the
up
whole
to
monetary,
$300.
yeah.
I thought that
Both
was
of them
part
together,
of it.
okay. And that's why I asked, because I had my notes together here.
Yes. Good call. All right, moving to, K, resolution 25-13, terminating Alarm Park lease.
Make a
I
motion,
mean,
we,
I'm sorry, Justin?
This is, we discussed this at the workshop. August, summer of, it's dated August 1st of 2022. This mayor, city council, to resolution to enter a 10-year lease of the alarm. This is a resolution to ask for early termination of that. The lease has a clause in there that we could ask to be terminated from it with a 1-year notice. So this isn't, they might let us out even earlier than that, but this is just a resolution asking them to let us be relieved from that prior to the 10-year term. It's supposed to go until 2031.
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution, or accept resolution 2025-13.
a second.
Thank you. Well, would you call roll?
Mark Hickman,
Yes.
Zach Jeffrey,
Yes.
Kyle Mark,
Yes.
Larry Hill.
Yes.
Thank you.
James when he comes back.
Okay. Moving into old business, resolution 2025-14, parking lot gravel removal. Justin, do you want?
This is a resolution that I just requested that we go on record with on the books. It's been discussed over and over again about the parking lot. This is the issue of the gravel being removed back to.
Do you first start from the street department?
With audits and with inspecting records.
Bring it up. I'm making a motion to accept resolution 2025-14.
Second. Second. What will you call roll?
Mark Hickman,
Yes.
Zach Jeffrey,
Yes.
Kyle Mark,
Yes.
Snyder,
Yes.
Larry Hill.
Yes.
James, I need your vote on resolution 2025-13.
13.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Thank you.
Y'all got through that fast.
All right, now it moves us from old business to comments. Any comments?
I have a couple. I was looking at the mobile home place coming in over here on the side of the freeway. And kind of got to asking questions, and it appears that, and I've asked Miss Barber to get me the ordinance that we suspended the part of Mayflower, because I believe in the spirit of suspending that was to stop all production of commercial activity coming or happening while we were deciding what to do with that. I could be totally wrong, but it appears that during this process of being suspended, because through the heart of Mayflower, you can't put a fuel station over there, or, there's a lot of things you can't do. It appears that while that was suspended, we went by a whole different set of rules, and now we've got a truck stop possibly coming and things like that, which, if that be the case, I don't remember that as a councilman being the spirit of us suspending the rules on that. And I'd like to get clarification, Mr. Attorney, if we can stop all whatever that we need, whatever we can do to clarify, because along with that, in the past, and somebody asked you a while ago, the variances that's been given by the planning commission should be coming to, the planning commission should be approving or denying them. And if they're approved through the planning commission, then they come to us, and then we approve or deny. But it doesn't appear that any of that's happening, and I'm really worried that we've got one chance to make Mayflower, as far as the development of it, we've got one chance to make it right. And something's bothered me about that over there, and I just want to make sure that everything's done correctly and in order. And if we suspended some rules so that something could be backdoored in, so we could go by a different set of rules while we suspended these, that's a problem. And I think we need to, I'm kind of clueless, Mr. Attorney, exactly what to do from at this point. Do you have any words of wisdom?
Just from my memory on that, it was a request to suspend the rules while we came up with policies on all sorts of things.
That's right.
One of the issues was whether someone could build a 60-foot tall sign.
Right.
Because we had no policies on pesticides, things like that. So those were the rules that were suspended. I do remember there being discussions about whether anybody that had their application already on file would be, that this would not hold them up. That was the intention, not hold them up.
That's fine, but if that were be the case, if the heart of Mayflower does not allow a fuel station on that side of the freeway, then that would never even see the light of day, because whether it was a application there or not, it would not be allowed. So that doesn't hold water with me, partly, and I'm not challenging you on that, but I am saying we really need to go back and look at it and see what we did do, what was going on, and what actually happened, because this is disturbing to me that we were asked to put a hold on this, and then while we had a hold on it, we went and shoved it appears that somebody may have shoved some stuff through the back door through a whole different set of rules, which is the, James, give me that, not the heart of Mayflower, but that would have gone under what?
The overlay district?
The overlay district at that point. So while everybody thought everything was safe because we suspend the rules, if there's a whole nother crowd going in behind us and going with another overlay district where you could put a fuel station in over there, then that creates a big problem. You see what I'm saying? And I don't know if we need to have a workshop on it. I don't know if we need to, I don't know what we need to do. Does anybody see it the way I do, or am I in left field?
Well, no, I think it's gonna start with, and I pride myself on reading them, but going back and put the fine tooth comb through the minutes of the planning commission meetings and determining what was decided, whether it was justly decided or without authority decided what people could do and how it was done. And if not, then we need to look at what ordinance they're by, and if they're just doing road construction over there that doesn't meet the ordinances made for them.
Well, if the planning commission is issuing variances and it's not coming.
That's my vote, and it's not authorized.
Then that's not authorized. It's a problem. So I realize what we're trying to do, but I don't think that's the spirit of what we really need to be doing. Am I making sense?
Yeah.
We've got one chance to do this. And Mr. Mayor, there's some people that's got real close to you that's over there developing that. And as long as it abides by the law, I'm good. But I don't want, let me finish. I don't want there to be an issue in which we make this place look like a dump so that one or two or three people can profit off of it, while the city of Mayflower suffers the consequences of it from now on. And that's what everybody up here at this table is elected for, is for a system of checks and balances. And I think we need to stop what we're doing and pull all that out and let's look, because if we need to stop some construction going on over there, I'm all about it until we get this thing straight and make sure we're legal and correct.
Well, it's my understanding that it was all legal. That's what's been done through the planning commission.
What is your understanding then? What, was it your intent to suspend the heart of Mayflower so that you could go with this other overlay district, so that you could come back and say, hey, oh, this is over?
No, we'll have to go back and look at what was approved.
Yeah, I'm asking because I don't think anybody knows at this point.
Well, but the fact of the matter is, you're implying that something was going on under the table. My job, since I've been in here, is trying to work with developers to get us some more revenue in here. Just like I've worked with over a year with Family Market, that type of thing. Done the same thing with Clayton Homes, same thing with the Maverick Truck Stop.
Did the Family Market, did they abide by a set of rules that the city put forth?
It's my understanding.
Absolutely, they did. We did this above board. The grocery store, we did that above board. Now you've got all this stuff going on over here that really doesn't, from what I'm understanding, and I may have to stand up here and apologize to everybody, but to my understanding at this point in time, we're looking at building things that's not approved over there. So if we're pushing through things that's not approved by the heart of Mayflower, then for us to be pushing that through anyway, what would it appear to you?
We're not trying to push anything. What we're trying to do is have an opportunity to bring businesses into Mayflower.
At whatever cost, correct?
Well, you're following the rules.
At whatever cost.
No, as I just said, to follow the rules. And it's my understanding that everything that's been done over there the rules have been followed.
Let me ask you this, because we're gonna come out, it's gonna come out, is that why you wanted to suspend the rules of the heart of Mayflower? Not to get everything right, but so that we could go with a different overlay district? I'm asking that question because I'm curious.
No, it's my understanding that was an old document, that was put together many, many years ago.
You know, there's a old rule there's an old saying that you may want to find out why a fence was put up before you decide to take it down. And those things are things that we need to not just slip up and say, oh, well, I don't know this happened. We've got to figure that out. We got to get together. We're supposed to be one team on this thing, and we should all be informed and all be going in the direction. You do not want revenue in here any worse than I do. I really want revenue in here, but I also want it to look right, be right, because we have citizens, we have a community, we have houses being built. We've got to maintain a standard. And if we're not, then if we decide to throw the standard out the window, it doesn't matter what we put over there, it's all going to fail. So I would like for us to stop and go back and let's research that. I don't know if we can. Mr. Attorney, what can we do? Can we stop all the process until we get this figured out?
Go to the circuit court and get this stop work order. It'd have to be an injunction.
Well, right now, there's nothing been built but the trailer place. And it's starting, but the thing that's part of that all of them today is, you go out there and they're putting an office, but there's no apron, there's no parking lot, anything like that. So I come back and start asking the question. Well, then I start asking the question, okay, there's supposed to be now a truck stop company, right?
Yes.
Okay, was that in the heart of Mayflower that it couldn't be over there?
I don't remember, Mark. The fact of the matter is, this went through the planning commission.
It doesn't matter if it goes through the planning commission. If we didn't all if we didn't all agree on it, then it can't be changed.
Let's go back and get the documents and find out the facts on that.
I think we need to do it sooner rather than later. This one's clearly not getting resolved tonight. We need to get the documents and get the facts. On to another thing, I don't know if you guys saw Dale's email. Sales tax revenue is down. During our budget process, I think I harped several times telling Dale, I don't think our projections are correct. We've been on a downward trend for 3 years. Our sales tax projections ought to be a downward trend. I think, like you'll say, and I'm not accusing Dale here, he did his best. That downward trend is continuing this year, but continued from 22 to 23 to 24. Just, I'm not saying the action needs to be taken tonight, other than department heads put on notice that are relying upon sales tax revenues, that if you thought the little cuts we made a few months back were tough, there may be more coming down the road that may happen. Based on the projections right now and the trends right now of sales tax income revenue. At least in my opinion. You don't have the money, you can't spend it.
I don't think you're alone in that opinion,
I
sir.
don't believe I am, but I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there.
It's a scary place, but everybody better start looking that direction because if something doesn't happen, you know. One more thing I want to bring up is on our, workshops. I would like to see us have an hour and a half agenda. Everything on the agenda, I'd like to propose that a timestamp on it. That, for instance, if we're gonna talk about street paving, we need 10 minutes, that's what we allotted. And then we move on to the next one and we put enough items on there that no longer than maybe an hour and a half, or whatever everybody agrees. And if somebody comes up at the last minute and says, hey, we want to talk about the sewer system, and that's gonna take 30 minutes. Well, then we need to go in and take other stuff off to make that fit so that we can fit on so we can kind of stop these 3 and 4 hour meetings as a whole. What are your thoughts about that?
Absolutely.
And I think hold to those times, if you're in the middle of talking about something, you got 10 minutes for it, it's over, or you sacrifice that time elsewhere. I think it'll streamline our process.
Well, obviously it will. If you go back and look at our previous workshops, we have a tendency, someone will say something, then someone will say the same thing, and so on and so forth. And it just continues to circle the camp. The 10 minutes is excellent, I think, that we.
Well, I don't care if it's 45 minutes on a topic. But you better not have more than 90 minutes. It better be your topic for the night.
There may be times that like a sewer system,
I just
that
know
may
at the
take
last
90 minutes.
We understand that there's going to be different,
Well, at the last workshop, there were 2 of the items on the agenda to give any credit to any one item.
Well, it forces us to stay at a 10,000 foot level, get to the point, get your point across, and then if we need more time.
The details are important, but the details need to be done in the homework, not here.
I've often heard you say something about a parking lot. Somebody would say something about a parking lot. It's a different idea, it'd probably be put on the parking lot, brought up at a different time.
Well, that's just taking that subject matter, not discounting it, putting it on a reminder board. It's called a parking lot, where you just put a Post-it note, and then that would also to be added to the paperwork that is sent out. What items was placed on the parking lot that people wanted to talk about, but at the time didn't allow. So they circle back around at a different meeting.
Does anybody have any thoughts on that? Or agree or disagree?
6:30 meeting, how do you
Go with that?
Absolutely.
Maybe we won't get home at 10 o'clock.
8:05.
Yeah. All right, so starting our next workshop meeting, council workshop meeting, we will limit it, we'll have 10-minute timeframes on every subject matter.
Just
tell,
it doesn't have to be 10 minutes.
whoever has something on the agenda, let them know how much time they're gonna need.
Yeah, let them know how much
And
time
then-
they're gonna allot.
And then,
That's it.
once we get 90 minutes, if there's other things.
Go to the next workshop.
It's a maximum of 90 minutes, 1.5 hours. Okay, Barbara, you got it?
But if I've got something that's gonna take 30 minutes, it's going to an hour for whatever else, but 90 minutes is the window.
Okay.
In other words, if the mayor wants to talk about helium balloons, and it's gonna take 30 minutes to talk about those balloons, then we may not be able to talk about it this week, but next week, you know, next time we'll put it on there and make sure we got a spot. You know, and, or if it turns out to be more important, the helium balloons turn out to be more important than something else that we carve out, and put that in the slot there, so that's.
I think one thing that we said we were gonna do is we're gonna look at these numbers monthly. And I think our comptroller is here. I think she's prepared. She's got some numbers. Was there anything that you'd like to talk about real quick? Share with us where we, I mean, it's, well, regarding the lack of income, the sales tax, nothing you can say about that?
$40,000 from last month.
So those are issues I think need to be discussed. I mean, it's not like.
Barely capped 100,000 this month. And that's,
So I know in the workshop, we spent some time digging through those numbers, and I think in that 90-minute workshop, there probably needs to be a minimum of 15 minutes dedicated to those numbers in that, in every workshop.
numbers.
You take 15 minutes out of the workshop.
I'm good. I just don't think we need to 1 or 2 minutes go over our head in a.
That's why I'm saying dedicate 15 minutes of that 90 financials.
Well, I believe that if we don't really specifically address, when you say we're $45,000 short?
just for the month, yeah.
For the month.
So we don't know what next month is gonna do, but right now, it's looking kind of bleak, and, you know, it worries me, because we may end up having to shrink the city to match the budget. You know, and that's.
And we don't want that to be a last minute thing. We need to be talking about that every time we meet, because I mean, that's just my. Thank you.
I think it needs to get some serious consideration, because it doesn't feel like it's been taken very seriously.
We have several things we're working on. We just don't have an end yet. We don't have a conclusion yet. You know, we're trying to do something else with our email, things that cost us money like that. If we can, you know, find for free that would serve the same. It's a lot. It's a lot to look at, but we are still doing it. We are absolutely every day. We're trying to figure out different things we can do to help, so we're working on it.
Thank you. Okay, so Barbara, you've got it documented for us an hour and a half maximum. And then, well, we'll start off with 15 minutes for the financials from that standpoint. Everybody agree? Okay. Any announcements?
One thing I was going to say, the RFP was to run in the state paper. I got a quote for that week. It was going to be, I believe, $161. So it was going to run.
Okay, thank you, Barbara. Any announcements? Our next regular city council meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, April the 22nd. Again, all of our meetings begin now at 6:30 p.m. The next planning commission meeting is scheduled for April the 8th. And our next council workshop meeting is scheduled for April the 10th. Again, all three meetings begin at 6:30 p.m. Do I hear a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you.
When someone new in the city wants to build something, whether it's a parking lot or whether it's a building or a home, what's the first step? What do they do?
First step they should do is go see Chris or Barbara to find out what permits they need.
The permits. So then whenever they get the permits issued, does they issue a table to tell you if it's gonna be a parking lot, what all the parameters are in that parking lot?
Yep.
Hey, you too, please.
Too bad. Okay, yeah, they'll get those parameters, what they have to meet. And then they're also told that if it's applicable, from the planning commission to discuss it. So usually come in and say, they might come in and say, yeah, we want to build this, but we're 6 inches over the line. So they have to be very sure.
We're gonna build a parking lot at the church. You know, my pastor wanted me to find out exactly what it was he would find out what all the specifications were. So Barbara was.
Barbara, yeah, they'll give them a packet, and tell them what permits are needed. And where they just start filling it out.
All right, okay, that's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Going to the doctor tomorrow. That don't,
Yes, ma'am.
over the counter, just